That's right, baby. It's Week 9 NFL review time, and you better sit there and watch this entire video or else I will find you and kiss you on the lips. Pittsburgh versus Tennessee. Pittsburgh took an early 7-0 lead off of a 10-yard touchdown run by Najee Harris, which is shocking to me since I didn't think Najee was capable of running 10 yards in a straight line without being tackled. Tennessee kicked a field goal, and after a couple punts, took a 10-7 lead off of a Derrick Henry touchdown run. Then, as per law regarding every Steelers game, the game became boring as shit. The teams exchanged 2 field goals each to give Tennessee a 16-13 lead entering the fourth, which is exactly how Kenny Kitten Mittens likes it. After exchanging punts, Kitten Mittens led Pittsburgh on a 92-yard touchdown drive, capped off by a touchdown pass to Deontay Johnson to put Pittsburgh up 20-16 with 4 minutes left. Tennessee would get 2 more chances to win, but the first ended on downs, and the last ended after famous mayonnaise fetishist Will Levis threw a desperation interception to end the game in Pittsburgh's end zone. Kenny Kitten Mittens has a lower career touchdown percentage than Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell, yet a winning career record. At this point, I can't help but respect the Steelers' ability to consistently crap out the ugliest 9-8 seasons of all time, seemingly on command. Kansas City versus Miami. Super clutch move by the NFL to not let Frank Reich's team play in Germany. KC went up 14-0 after a couple Mahomes touchdown passes, air quotes. The play of the game happened with Miami driving late in the second quarter when Tyreek Hill got completely bitched and stripped of the ball before KC lateraled it for a long fumble return touchdown to put them up 21-0. This is easily the worst thing Tyreek has ever done. Unforgivable. After that, Casey's offense said enough was enough, while Miami slowly climbed back to make it 21-14 after 3. Miami would get 2 fourth quarter drives with a chance to either take the lead or tie, but Tua shit my pants over threw a bunch of ducks to give KC another ugly win to move them to 7-2 and drop the gay Sharks to 6-3, including 0-3 against winning teams. I really need Mahomes to get his stats up to help his GOAT argument versus Brady. Come on, Patrick. Cleveland versus Arizona. Look, I understand that Cleveland's defense is good, but I'm not moved by them destroying an offense led by something called Clayton Thune at quarterback. The Predator was back at quarterback for Cleveland and had a very good game, although I think Ryan Leaf could have won this game for Cleveland. It was never close after the first quarter, and once the Browns went up 10-0 in the second, you knew it was over. I might not have been accurate in saying Arizona would go 0-17, but I have a feeling I'll be pretty damn close, even when video game expert Kyler Murray returns at quarterback. New Orleans versus Chicago. This started off like an arena football game as Tyson Badger and Derek Carr exchanged touchdown passes to make it 14-all at halftime, with some turnovers and a missed field goal sprinkled in along the way by the Bears. New Orleans went up 17-14 off of a DJ Moore fumble before Chicago tied it back up with a field goal of their own. You see that, Scott Norwood? It's not that hard. After a couple punts, Taysom Hill found Juwan Johnson to put the Saints up 7 with 11 minutes left. Then Badgett, right? Okay. Got the first of 4 chances in the quarter to either tie or win the game, but he threw back-to-back interceptions. Then on the third drive, punted it away, and on his 4th and final chance, after a missed New Orleans field goal, he decided to be a douche and fumble the ball away to secure the win for the Gumbo Addicts. Beware, Saints fans, Derek Carr is starting to reel you in again. He's going to let you down soon. Washington versus Boston. A close game between 2 teams that are irrelevant. The Commandos jumped out to a 10-0 lead, but DUI lover Mac Jones threw a touchdown after a turnover and then willed Ramondre Stevenson to run for a 64-yard touchdown to give the Patriots a 14-10 halftime lead. The Pats would go up 17-10 in the third before Washington tied it when Sam Howell threw a dot, to tie it at 17. The Commandees kicked a field goal to make it 20-17 entering the fourth before a punt orgy broke out. Oh, fuck yeah, baby. New England would get the ball back down 3 with 2 minutes left for a chance to either tie or win, but doo-doo shit poopster dropped a pass and it turned into a game-losing interception. Stuff like this is why Belichick isn't as good without Brady. Brady would have willed his wide receiver to catch that. Just look at the Edelman catch in Super Bowl 51. Baltimore versus Seattle. These 2 teams' abbreviations combined to be SEA-BAL, which turns out to sound like C-ball. No offense to Michael Sam and Carl Nassib. That's about as exciting as this game got, as Baltimore took the lead early on and never looked back. No offense to blind people. Seattle scored just 3 points on 12 drives, while Baltimore's run game continued to be dominant. Gus Edwards scored a couple touchdowns, and Keaton Mitchell broke off a 40-yard touchdown run late in the game, put Baltimore up 33 entering the fourth, before everybody's favorite scat artist, Odell Beckham Jr., scored his first touchdown of the season to reach the final score of 37-3. The Ravens are quietly 7-2, and Starbucks still sucks. Minnesota versus Atlanta. If you look at the final score, you would think this was a game of mostly touchdowns and a field goal. But oh no, my friend. friends, no Falcons game is normal. There were 7 field goals and a safety in this one, but at least the game went down to the wire in exciting fashion. The Jaron Hall era in Minnesota lasted about as long as Andrew Bogut's time with the Cavaliers. You forgot about that, didn't you? My point exactly. Leading to newly acquired Bruce Willis and Armageddon impersonator Josh Dobbs to take over. The Falcons took the lead with a touchdown run with 2 minutes left, but Dobbs responded with a touchdown pass with 22 seconds left to give Minnesota the 31-28 win. Personally, I think the Falcons should try getting a defense because they haven't had one since Jimmy fucking Carter was president. Houston versus Tampa Bay. A week after a disappointing loss to Carolina, CJ Stroud put up one of the best rookie quarterback performances of all time, and it was made even more impressive because Houston needed every point. Houston fell behind by 10 points at several junctures of the game, but despite not having a kicker, they would eventually take a 30-23 fourth quarter lead on Stroud's 4th touchdown pass of the day. But unlike one of his Cheesecake Factory friends, Baker Mayfield refused to go down. Rachaad White, not to be racist, scored his 2nd 1-yard touchdown of the day to tie the game at 30. Then we had a position player kick a field goal, so much for kickers being Hall of Famers, before Mayfield found country music name-generated tight end Cade Otton to put Tampa Bay up 37-33 with 46 seconds. The game looked over, but Stroud marched Houston 75 yards, capped off with a great touchdown throw to Tank Dell with 6 seconds left to seal the 39-37 win for Houston and Stroud's 470-yard, 5-touchdown day. Green Bay versus the Rams. Stat Padford missed this game due to his pride being injured after I pointed out that he was on pace to easily finish with the most losses of all time last week. So Brett Rippin' Ass started in his place, and it went about how you'd expect. Despite not having a quarterback, the Rams were competitive in the first half, only trailing 7-3 at halftime. Unfortunately, they would get blanked the rest of the way. Despite several fumbles of their own, Green Bay would end up winning in a comfortable 20-3 manner, and Jordan Love's numbers looked good, even though he would have had to have played unfathomably terrible to lose to LA. I'm personally not moved by the win. What are you gonna do, Packers fans? You gonna throw cheese at me? Huh? Is that what you're gonna do? Go fuck yourself. Indianapolis versus Carolina. Bryce Young, aka Booster Seat Bryce, threw 3 touchdown passes in this game, but unfortunately, 2 of them were to the other team, which dropped Carolina to a dreadful 1-7 on the year, which also doubles as Karl Malone's preferred age range. Indy was already up 13-3 late in the first half when Young threw his first pick 6 to make it 20-3 at halftime. After cutting the lead to 20-10 entering the 4th, Young threw his 2nd pick 6, both of which went to the Colts' Kenny Moore, to effectively end the game. I'm a man of legendary integrity, probably second only to Urban Meyer, so I'm here to admit that I was most likely wrong about CJ Stroud being a bust. But so far, I've completely nailed, no offense to Jesus, my Bryce Young prediction. He fucking stinks. Las Vegas versus New Jersey Giants. The first game for Vegas in the post-Josh McDaniels era went about as well as you could hope for if you're a Raiders fan, although it does help to be playing the shit dumpster fire of a franchise like the Giants, who are now in the midst of yet another lost season with a 3rd-string quarterback who sounds like a fictional Godfather character. I told you all the Giants season last year was a fluke, and you called me a hater, but once again, I was right. Shocker. The Giants didn't score until they were down 27-0 in the 4th quarter, and Daniel Jones is now out for the rest of the year with a torn ACL, which really doesn't matter since he's terrible anyway. Fat Derek Carr, aka Aiden O'Connell, didn't have to do much to earn his first career win, but at 4-5, the Raiders are not totally out of the playoff race just yet, somehow. If you had the time, please pray for Josh McDaniels and his family. I don't think they're financially able to get by now that he's out of a job. Philadelphia versus Dallas. On one hand, fly Eagles fly, and fuck you Cowgirls fans, you suck. On the other, I completely expected Philly to beat Dallas, who are notorious for crapping their pants every year since 1996, and they did not disappoint on this day. My Eagles squeaked out a 28-23 win with another great game by Jalen Hurts, who is once again in the MVP discussion despite how much you morons hate it, and also some timely defensive plays. This game really summed up Dak Prescott's career well. He had nice stats, but he made several insanely dumb mistakes with multiple chances to win the game late. From stepping out of bounds on a 2-point conversion, to taking a sack at Philly's 11-yard line with no timeouts on the final drive, to his final throw being short of the end zone, he is just good enough to get you beat. He might not have lost the game, but he didn't win it either. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to call my doctor about this erection I've had for the last 24 hours. Cincinnati versus Buffalo. A battle between 2 titans, or at least I think so, since he struck first on a Joe Burrow touchdown pass before Buffalo rallied to tie it at 7 on a touchdown run by Josh Allen, who disgustingly pointed his finger at a Bengals defender as he was going into the end zone. Thank goodness the refs flagged him for taunting. Otherwise, all the kids watching the game might have started to deal drugs or something. I don't know. Since he climbed its way to a 21-7 halftime lead before the game slowed down to a 21-10 4-10 affair entering the fourth. The most pivotal play happened when rookie tight end Dalton Kincaid fumbled the ball away for Buffalo inside Cincy's 15-yard line. This is easily the worst thing to happen to a Buffalo player in a game at Cincinnati in recent memory, in my opinion. The Bengals then went up by 14 before Buffalo scored a sad touchdown and 2-point conversion to make it 24-18 with 3:32 left. Cincy then ran out the rest of the clock with multiple first downs, capped off by Rocky Balboa impersonator Joe Mixon with 2 minutes left. As it stands, no offense to Stephen Hawking, the Bills are out of the playoffs right now, although I doubt that lasts for long. LA Chargers versus the Jets. I pride myself on being honest with all of you, so I'm going to admit that I did not watch most of this game because I expected it to be complete dog shit, and once again, I was correct. Zach Wilson was unsurprisingly terrible, and the inconsistent Justin Stafford had terrible numbers against a great defense on the road. The most exciting play happened almost immediately in the game when LA returned a punt for a score, and then after Austin Eckler vultured another short touchdown run to make his stats look better, the game was over, as long as Herbert didn't throw a couple pick sixes. After the first quarter, the game was never within one score at any point, and the only touchdown scored in the last 3 quarters was another short touchdown run by Eckler at the very end, which was set up by a Zach Wilson fumble. The Jets need to inject the same shit the Warriors put into Steph Curry's paper-mache ankles in 2013 into Aaron Rodgers' Achilles so he can come back even sooner than what he's hinting at. It's time to hand out some awards, motherfuckers. Let's go. My offensive player of the week was pretty easy choice. CJ Stroud, 470 yards, 5 tutters, no picks, 147.8 passer rating, clutch touchdown pass at the very end to win the game. He looks like he's gonna be legit. It's only been 8 or 9 games, I know, but most of the time you can tell when a guy is a guy, and this guy looks like he's gonna be a guy. My defensive player of the week goes to Max, double X like a porn star Crosby. 3 sacks, 8 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, and he played 100% of the defensive snaps. Now, I know he was going against a special needs team with the Giants, but still, very impressive performance. My biggest loser of the week is the Dallas Cowboys. This photo perfectly sums up the Cowboys since January 1996. You come so close to success every single time, but you find a way to trip over your own dick and fall flat on your face, and I absolutely love it. With this loss, barring some massive Eagle injuries or a massive Eagles collapse, the Cowboys don't have a chance at winning the division, and it's great. Can't wait to watch them lose in the first 2 rounds again this year. Tom Brady check down of the week, very easy. I mean, Taylor Heineke, not even a debate. This goes down as a quote-unquote 60-yard touchdown pass, even though it was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. This is what Tom Brady made his entire career out of. Never forget that when talking about the GOAT debate. And finally, the award you've all been waiting for, the puppy of the week, is once again Scooby. He lost his crown after a dynastic run the first couple weeks there, but now he's back on top. I mean, isn't he just so adorable? Look at that little face. He definitely can be annoying at times, but I love him so much. He's the best pupper in the world.